another week, another Wednesday, another SOS number 205. Today we'll see who will swing or who will swim and who will sink. I am Topic, joined by the wonderful Jokera. And Jokera, how you doing today?
Hello, Topic. I'm doing pretty well this evening. Just got done with most of my classes, and now I'm here to commentate SOS 205.
I feel that as well. Classes, midterm season. Hold on, buckle up, everybody. But, enough about school and responsibilities and studying. Let's talk about Splatoon, because our round one for you today is going to be Remix versus Justice. Is that how you say it? I want to say Justice. I might be saying it wrong.
Yeah, I think it is Justice.
Or, hold on, is it big? You know what? Teams, we'll figure those out, because I believe I think we're right. No, it's Remix versus Quasar.
Quasar,
right? Quasar.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, Quasar.
Okay. Sorry everyone. Remix versus Quasar, and for game number 1, Robo Ramen Zones. This is, to me, the map mode of all time.
Yeah, it's something where this map has pretty much been in mapless ever since it got added to the game, and it looks like we're gonna be hopping in immediately into first game. Here we see on the side of, I believe, on the side of Remix, you see, I think, a Galuga Blues, and you see the new stringer on the side of Quasar here.
Yeah, and another thing I really want to point out is that both these teams are running V-Brella. Not a weapon you see very, very often. It can be useful with the just overwhelming paint from the main weapon, from the rain, from the sprinkler as well. But we're gonna see right here, right now, it's like Remix, I believe, in the yellow, if I recall correctly, are gonna lose the zone for now, as the other one, Quasar, doing a really good job of fighting back here.
See the carbon roller come in and get a pick, but unfortunately they do go down, so Remix just push much further in. It's something, a walkout I've seen so many times on Robo Ramen, especially on zones, where you just get backed up and you prevent the enemy from going anywhere.
And it looks like we are being informed that the team in yellow is in fact Remix and the other team in blue is Justice. So it looks like Justice did a really, really good push going down to 42, but for now, it's all up to Remix to try to get something going. But unfortunately, 2 members are going to go down here, as the members of Justice are going to continue their push forward, and now they're going to get into a very dangerous Brella v Brella 1v1. It looks like, at least for the moment, Remix will win that for now, just trying to go forward, but the three of them doing a really good job of just separating the members and kind of funneling them in one by one to their zone. Unfortunately, it's not going to do a whole lot, because right now it's been very, very back and forth, and Remix are trying to do trying to get a lot of control, but so far Justice has been doing a really good job of keeping them back and not letting them get a whole lot of space. You see Strikes going in to try to get mainly that S-Class and Gluga into this pit area. It can be very, very dangerous for Remix, because right now they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I did check back on all the members. I believe Team in Blue is in fact Remix here. Because I know Sony and Organic are on Remix. They're on the blue team here. Currently, again, Nag is taking huge control of the zone here, taking out a lot of members of Justice, who trying to push back in, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. And then at this point, it's only Remix has managed to take the game.
Yeah, they managed to take the game. They fought back a lot from Justice. I think a really big thing I want to point out, or at least give credit towards, is kind of using the Strikes along with that S-Blast and Glucas, because as we know, Strikes are very, very good at clearing out space. They're very, very good as kind of masking your approach entries, because they just cover a whole lot of area. So you have, for example, when we saw Remix get in that I want to say that second time. The Brella pop strikes, and then almost immediately after that, it was both the S-Blast and Glugas just using that to get, I believe the S-Blast was on Snipe, and then Glugas was in Pit, which made it very, very hard for Justice to get anywhere close to the zone. So good job on them, but we're going to see if they can continue that momentum as we go to game number 2, a lot more of an open map mode where you're not kind of forced into one straight direction. As we go to game number 2, Clan Blitz on Museum D'Alfonsino.
Clan Blitz on Museum. This is a map I know that has been hailed around the community as one of the best Clan Blitz maps for a while. I'm not too sure if that sentiment remains true now, with other Clams maps, and especially maps having been updated as the game has gone on. But I know for a fact that this map does at least do a lot of favors to have specials that help to just clear out and move people off of plat. Stuff like Booyah Strikes, which I think we've seen from Remix and Justice also having the V-Brella on their team, are definitely going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting and actually making pushes happen.
Yeah, and to kind of continue off of that point, I feel like we're gonna see mostly the same comps from both sides because they worked really well. And specifically for Remix, I think them keeping with the strikes alongside Gluga are very, very, very helpful because, of course, Gluga, I believe they did go the vanilla Gluga. They do have that wall to really kind of isolate that are either side of the enemy plat or their own plat on defense. So I think that's really helpful. You have S-Blast as well, which is very, very helpful for just covering plat with the Booyah Bomb, but we're gonna see. But hold on, if you're Remix, have to be a bit more careful of that because you know rollers, they love to shark, they love to sit under, and they have a bubble as well, so that can be very, very deadly.
Yeah. I think it's especially interesting to see the replacement of the carbon for the V-Roll, just to have it running a little more faster. It's like immediately almost comes in and gets a really well-earned trade there. So as we see just kind of very just stalled out game right now, teams just trying to get control where they can. You see those strikes coming to Remix, and it seems like they're going to actually be able to make a push here.
Yeah, they are able to make that push, and also shout out to, I believe that was the Gluga popping that Booyah Bomb behind the Brella, kind of trap them in place and give Remix kind of space they need to work with, as you see right here, popping the cooler as well, getting 2 people on the plat, but the defensive strikes are going to at least stall for a minute here to try to give Justice a little bit of space to work with. Unfortunately, 2 members go down along with the Booyah Bomb to try to clear out this path, get that roller out of there. You see the S-Class is causing a lot of damage in the middle down without getting a trade. 2 balls actually go in rings, but Organic here is still in a decent spot. They have the wall. There's no one from this is really pushing them, really trying to enforce the space, so they're able to stick here for a little bit longer and keep Justice's back as far as possible. So even though nice fall off, I believe, even though they didn't get any extra clams, just keeping them there really, really helped, because now Remix, they're back in business. They are still just surrounding this plat area and kind of living on it.
Yeah, I think it's especially interesting because they're running 2 Booyah weapons, both weapons that have a pretty high Booyah overall, but it seems that they're timing it out pretty well and just allowing them to have huge sustains on their pushes so they don't have to back up, because we've seen them so far in Justice's by their basket for the past 2 minutes almost.
Yeah, they have been for the past 2 minutes, but shout out to the roller player, just making sure that no extra flame caught in, placing that bubble, getting that sustain, unfortunately going down here, but just saving the pushes for a little bit longer. But now we're seeing Remix still popping the strikes on this plat to, again, clear it out, get their team in. You see the Brella, you see the S-Blast, you see the Glugas just surrounding the plat. They're doing a really, really good job of this. They're making sure that this plat is painted as blue as possible, as long as possible. Cooler plus Bump to continue their assault on this basket. They have another ball at the ready, plus a couple more clams in the economy as well. But are they able to get that in is a real question. And we just see they are living on this plat. Even though they did not score, they are still, at the very least, nice shot there by the Zuka, just running off as much time as possible, because for Justice, they still have not scored. Matter of fact, they've barely been on the end. They've barely been on Remix's plat, and before they can even get a chance of doing that, Remix has scored once again.
Yeah, Justice is. Oh, we're almost at the end of the game here. That was really cool things. Just having. Oh, I guess we're already at the end of the game now.
Yeah, just shout out the Brella, just kind of 1v1ing, monoing the ink brush and living to tell the tale, using their shield to block a shot, get the final 2 clams in, and just kind of seal the deal on 100-0 for Remix. And what we saw was just really good special coordination, in a sense, where they, like I said, they had 2 bombs, but instead of popping them both at the same time, they would pop one, get their team members in, and just save the other one just in case, to either A, cut off the escape route, or B, just continue the push and keep it sustained. So shout out to them, and a very strong start to this SOS for them.
Yeah, truly. I think it's also, again, just interesting to also see just how, as well as how powerful the strikes were. Essentially acting almost as a second Booyah, or third Booyah bomb in this case. Just allowing for sustaining pushes, and also having a weapon that currently right now is able to output strikes at a really high pace in Vibrella. Vibrella.
Yeah, just using that paint buff it basically got a little while ago to just paint the floor really effectively, always have strikes at the exact moment they needed it, and using it to get the team in and just get those points scored. But with that, that'll be it for round number 1. But don't go anywhere, because we will be right back to SOS 205 in a few short minutes.
All right, and hello, we are back with SOS 205 with our next match for round 2, DPS Only versus C Drive, starting on Zone's Ship-Shaped Cargo Co. Topic, what do you think of this map?
I see this map. There are two weapons I think of. I think of pencil, and I think of leader. And I say that because whether it be on offense or defense, both of those weapons, both being chargers, of course, have high points where they can just control most of the map, right? Let's say you're on defense, you're being locked out. That top left section, I don't think you can't contest it like you can't not contest it. But what I'm saying is like you can kind of just sit at a distance and pick people off relatively safely. Now, when you're the attacking team and you get zone, a lot of what you'll see is mainly the backliner in two spots. You're gonna see them on the bridge or on that block in court. That's mainly because, again, it's very easy to lock out on this map because you have such good sight lines where you can see basically everything. And if you can just get one of those spots and like have the rest of your team kind of know that, hey, I've got your back, then this could be a very, very quick, maybe not 100, maybe like you get like 90 points, like 85, 90 points, because even though it is easy to lock out, I feel like one good like strikes or one good reslider is just enough firepower to just move them completely. But we're gonna see as we get into this, going with not Fro Pro. Okay, very interesting. For the other side, a very short range, or not a very aggressive comp from DPS Only, and I think they're living up to their name. Oh no, sorry, very aggressive comp from C Drive, just making sure that they can just rush down the opponent, because that seems to be their game plan here.
Yeah, immediately seeing C Drive try and get on their left side over here. We saw the Viper on DPS Only just immediately drop, and it still seems to be over on the other side of the map. Very lucky Reef Slider here to live through the stamp here, as even if DPS Only seems to have control of the map, that's not... The other team does at least have Viper, or Cooler at the minute to help come back in.
Yeah, they do have Cooler, but they have a lot to work through. As I said earlier, the Pens are just sitting up here, just harassing, especially this top right side for that head. Unfortunately, they are going to be forcing the Reef-Slider is going to go down in the zone, and C Drive back to business as usual. Hammer as well, just doing as much damage as possible. And like I said, this map can be very, very hard to get a lockout on. You see that DPS Only, they have been getting towards both the zone and this top side, but until now, they really haven't been able to get any further, and it looks like they are finally able to secure both sides of the nice shot there. Just secure both sides of the bridge and get points scored, but C Drive, they're not going away. They're keeping themselves within striking distance of the zone at all times, and even during this fight, forcing a member back can be very, very helpful for DPS Only, because now they're able to at least get set up once again. Viper goes down without getting, or did get a trade on a hammer kill, but right before you know it, in the blink of an eye, DPS Only has taken the lead after it looked like a very, very bad wipeout for them.
Okay, so this is C Drive that's currently on the blue team. I think the colors are versed right now. The C Drive finally having been able to take over the zone after most of the game just kind of being locked out by DPS Only. Are just finding Trust trying to maintain that as much as possible. They do have two members go down here, which does allow DPS Only to come back in, but it's not especially in a lockout position for C Drive. They again come back in immediately to contest the zone.
Yeah, you see him right here in this zone trying to contest. Not just doing what they can, spraying and praying the zone, popping the rain as well, try to at least clear a little bit of this top side along with that core, getting a member into up their own team, getting 1, getting 2. That's a really, really good start. You see a 1v1 on this bridge here, a very, very tense into a 2v1 for C-Drive, looking to get something going here. Looks like 1 will go down, 2 will go down, in fact. So a very bad situation turned into a very, very fruitful one for DPS only, as forcing that decap to drop out or jump out is helpful, because now you force C-Drive back a whole lot further than they would have been if that decap was able to stay where they were. Points are going to be scored for DPS only as well, but the retry coming out on the zone, able to get 1 member down, and C-Drive once again just going to force their way in through sheer force of will with that carbon, with that decap, with the reslider, just making sure that DPS only cannot just sit here on this top side and just survive, basically.
Yeah, I think CJ's aggressive comp here has definitely been helping at least come in with some fast retakes. It does seem to have led them to being locked out a lot more often during this whole game, but it's definitely still allowed them to at least take the lead and again just kind of start taking out members. Unfortunately, again, do go 2 down, but they do have that reslider to come in and almost retake the zone here. But with a minute left, it may not be enough here. C-Drive does have some time left, but they really need to get going if they want to try and get back.
See right here, lead has been taken. That clock's gonna tick. C-Drive has 1 opportunity left, but the pencil making sure that nothing happens, along with that range to finish up double kills. The wipeout will put a very, very neat bow on the game, and DPS only, despite the constant attempts to get back in the zone by C-Drive, they're able to hold them off, able to get not even a lockout. They're able to just get the zone, hold onto it last. They got the rain out, they got their wiper in, they got the pencil to just look down and just kind of survey the area from a bird's eye view, and that's all they needed to take game number 1. So like I said, it was very, very back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting to see the difference in comps here. DPS only running stuff like pencil, knot, and the new forged missiles that all kind of help to pace the game out, while C-Drive still running a very fast comp, and despite being put up against many weapons and many specials that would have slowed them down, still were able to keep up pace and at least give them a pretty close game, even if they ended up losing in the end. But now we move on to Rainmaker Manta Maria.
Yeah, you want to talk about pace for DPS only, kind of slowing it down with Knot, with Rain, with Pencil, and FroPro. This is in the complete opposite direction of a map mode where you just want to go, go, go. And I think that kind of helps C-Drive, because you saw they were very aggressive. They had that decap, they had that reef slider with the dread, they had the carbon. So I think this more suits them, because not only can you get a bubble on the elbow of Manta Maria when you're pushing, you can get a reslider there as well. You can just kind of attack the enemy as quick as possible. I think the only thing they would really have to be at least, not I won't say worried, but like they have to keep an eye out for is, of course, bunker, because you can't have a pencil kind of the pencil for DPS only has stick with it, just hide up there and just kind of make sure that they cannot get forward. But we're gonna see instead for, I believe, yeah, for C-Drive going with not Firefin, with the ZF Charger, Zap, and missiles. So they brought missiles for themselves. I think their idea is to kind of counteract the missile paints from DPS only with some of their own, but we're gonna see if that works. As the first pop looks like it's gonna go to C-Drive, possibly 1-for-1 in mid, and still looks like C-Drive are gonna try to do what they can to paint it, but no, DPS only will get the first pop. Unfortunately, Silver with a very, very nice snipe there, and was gonna at least slow DPS only down. They're gonna pick it up first, but not a whole lot. Instead of going horizontally, so no points are gonna be scored. So C-Drive in a good spot now, because now they have 3 points on the board. Yeah,
truly. But C-Drive doesn't seem to be able to be in a position to actually push in right now. But they definitely at least have some amount of space, and at least aren't being completely pushed back. Even though it may look like it right now, they still do have a few options that they can take, and at least they're slowly starting to whittle down the members of DPS only in order to seemingly take a push over here on the right here. Oh.
That push on the right's not gonna happen, just a few inches too short, but I like you said, I like for C Drive, they were just kind of not stuck in mid. I feel like they were kind of contained in this area where you had the rain kind of locking them down, you had the Viper pushing forward, you had all that happening, and that kind of just made it more and more difficult to let them push and let them get more points on the board. Getting to 74 isn't the worst, but with how long they had it, you want a little bit more here. I'm gonna see if they can do something with that, going straight for that jump once again. They are able to jump it and able to get the pedestal pretty much uncontested, so now they're gonna be in the street, or at least attempt to be, as DPS only are gonna start closing in on them as quick as possible.
Yeah, I think interesting to note right now, a lot of DPS's only members were being spread thin based on their push, where I think most of the members of C Drive were trying to split them up, but now they're able to rejoin back with each other, missile all 4 of the enemy team, and start making their pushes their own, as we see them immediately try and take space here. And they're seemingly also going to be able to break the checkpoint as well here. Getting a wipeout on C Drive, and looks like their lead's going even further.
Yeah, shout out to the pro for just using those missiles to spread out the members of C Drive, pick them off one by one. DPS only getting down to 11 points on the board. You see the decap going from behind, trying to get something going. Unfortunately, they're not for DPS only, just hiding in plain sight, picking it up behind everybody, and winning the game off of a single, well, 2 pushes, but basically it was just 1 push split in half. So I got that as 1 really big push, and DPS only. That's Rainmaker. No, nothing else. That's Rainmaker.
Yeah, I can't really say anything else here. I think it is interesting to note that with the usage of missiles here, it wasn't used as a way to kind of slow the game down. In fact, it was used to kind of as an entry tool, which I get that's kind of what missiles is supposed to be used for, but traditionally, at least my experiences with Splatoon 2, I've only seen missiles used to just kind of slow people down and force them to take a break from playing the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I can see how that could be, because when they use missiles on their push, what essentially happened when they got all 4 is it separated them into basically 2-on-2, and are 2 on one side on the elbow side and 2 on the drop side, right? That jump area, and it kind of forced the members of C Drive into these really awkward scenarios where they were chipped already. The members of DPS only were closing in. They got the wipeout and they just kept going, and they managed to get all the way to 11. They were stopped very, very shortly, but able to just pick it up once again and just roll with this. So very, very, very nice usage of missiles there for DPS only, getting that win. And I believe we have our next match ready already. It's going to be chonker versus Wavebreaker Quad POV. Now, is there going to be a Wavebreaker Quad? I have no idea. There should be, though.
Yeah, that, or there's going to be 4 Wavebreakers. 4 Wavebreakers. Which would be an interesting comp to see happen. I doubt it, but you never know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we will not get to see Wavebreaker Quad POV just yet, because unfortunately these teams are not ready or not finished with their other sets. So we're going to take a very, very quick break, let them finish up, let them wrap up before we get back with round 3 of SOS 205. Well, welcome back, everyone. We are here with SOS 205, round number 3, chonker versus Wavebreaker Quad POV. Two teams. We're ready to see what they got. I am Topic, joined once again by Jokera. And Jokera, how are you feeling about this? How are you feeling about this match so far?
So far, I know a couple of these people actually. I know some of them from SAC and a few from other events that I've staffed. I think both of these are pickups. I think, fortunately, it's just not consistent teams, but I do at least know, especially like Toffles, Sploosh, Inker 2 here on the side of chonker. I know.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see, the teams may not be, as consistent, but the map modes is definitely consistent because another very, very popular one, which I like actually. I think it's good. Barnacle and Dime zones. I like this one. I think it's really good. I think you do, of course, have options on both retake and lockout for defense, and I think especially if you are getting locked out, taking advantage of that top right side is like the most useful because that's your highest vantage point. It's very, very hard for the enemies to get up there because their only way up is through a block jump that is very exposed, and it just provides a lot of just height advantage that you have over your own snipe, which you really need to get if you're going to push in. Now, on the opposite side, if you're pushing, you got to get three things mainly. You have to get in that little court area so you can threaten any jumps, any drops. You can get snipe to threaten from their plat area, and you got or their base area, and then you got to get plat so you have at least a lookout for that top right side, because as I said earlier, that's a very, very popular way for people to go to get out of a lockout.
Yeah, so I unfortunately here have the opposite opinion. I don't like Splat Zones, Barnacle and Dime, and I think it's for that exact reason. Where it's just, it feels like whenever you do have to push in, you end up just kind of taking up the block that's right by mid, and then you don't have to really push anywhere else because your options for actually getting out of your spawn aren't that great on this map, especially the right side, which is just one of the, I would argue, one of the largest drops outside of maps like Brinewater.
Yeah, I could see it, especially going on that right side, you're at such a major disadvantage because not only do you have those greats, you also have just Fight Club. I don't know if they actually call out for it. I like to call it Fight Club because, like, if you go down there, one of you is coming out. Don't matter who it is, it's going to be one of you, not both. So I do understand, but I think it also, like, I don't want to say it's kind of easy to kind of get back to neutral, but I will say it does take a lot of effort to get to a lockout. Mainly because you have to be always wary of snipe, which is a very good place for, chargers, bows, splatlings, those kind of weapons. It also has to worry about street, because street can go from one side to the other in a snap. It can go behind the enemy team, so you gotta worry of flanks. That's where a lot of frontliners you like to go, like your splooshes, like your splash, like your 52s, like your carbons, like your S-blasts. Like those type of weapons kind of really love abusing street, because if you go all the way, you can kind of like divert a lot of attention towards yourself and away from your team, giving them the advantage they need to get in. Also, to mention, specials are very good here. Like strikes on zone, I think will instant cap. You can use strikes to both clear out plat or street, or get even further into court or the pit area if you feel like it. But we're gonna see, as that's a tent. We don't see that very often, and from the other side, we're gonna see from Wavebreaker Quad POV going with Sploosh, I believe Sticker, Stamper, and I believe that's the Chump's carbon, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that is the Chumps Carbon. Shares the same kit with the Bamboo Mach 2 of Dizzy Bomb and Chumps, which is overall still a really good kit for Carbon. And even then, we have these, even so, see here a Sploosh that did just get taken out, but they were pushing up very far here on in this match.
Very far, very fast. Unfortunately, LetsGetTheSquadWinsForTheCrew are able to very quickly kind of get them caught out and get them down, but you saw the Sploosh just waiting and just hiding and looking and just preparing to attack. They are gonna go with the hammer as well, kind of get a kind of interaction on the members going. They're gonna get shut down. LetsGetTheSquadWinsForTheCrew, very good job of noticing the Sploosh, noticing the hammer, and kind of reacting to it as well to make sure that nothing happened from there. And so far, they did get lead, so they are doing very good job of holding their own, kind of get even further. Carbon getting one, not quite to get the second, but doing just enough to give LetsGetTheSquadWinsForTheCrew a chance to get back in the zone. Unfortunately for them, Wavebreaker POV just will not be dissuaded here, able to get the zone, but going to be forced back at least a little bit here, just waiting for Trek to end. The hammer going through, able to get one down, no pencil. That's very unfortunate. That means no cooler for LetsGetTheSquadWinsForTheCrew, so this give Wavebreaker a chance, the opportunity here to get even further. You see the Carbon going in alongside this Stamper, trying to get a lot of space, get a lot of picks if possible, popping the Chumps as well to give their team something to fight with as well.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to just see that even though Wavebreaker TV still doesn't have the lead and hasn't been able to take the zone up until like now after a long period of time where the chonkers still had it, they did still have control of their side of the map. I think it is definitely thanks in part to that Sploosh and that Carbon both kind of remaining patient and finding opportunities to push in and get picks here. And now as we see here, they're even now just remaining patient. We see a stand pop out from the Sploosh that is able to get the tent and take it down even though it was a trade.
Yeah, just that patience help. Getting a member down is better than nothing. You see a little bit of learning adaptation from that earlier pick, and Wavebreaker POV just doing as much as possible, getting another 2 members down. LetsGetTheSquadWinsForTheCrew kind of getting a little bit desperate down, and that they got their game plan. They got both the Carbon and the Sploosh in really good places, and they let LetsGetTheSquadWinsForTheCrew come to them. They let them make the mistakes, and they just punished it really effectively.
Yeah, I would argue that's kind of how you do have to play Barnacle. It's not a map that really allows you to push up that far unless you're playing on, I don't know, say Clan Blitz. But aside from that, though, it does at least give them a lot of opportunities for just waiting. But now here, we're moving on to, well, I think a lot of people have, I have heard it referred to as the final destination of Splatoon maps, Tower Control Inkblot.
Okay, you know, final destination. I could see Wavebreaker POV kind of doing a whole lot of damage here, mainly because, of course, from the sticker Stamper, they have them in a really good spot, a really annoying spot for LetsGetTheseSquadWinsForTheCrew. So I think if you are a LetsGetTheseSquadWinsForTheCrew, just keep eyes on the Sploosh.
Unfortunately, but we should be back now.
Unfortunately, they won't get to hear my amazing analysis.
Yeah, no, I will say that I think, at least on this map, is definitely going to be, I think, pretty interesting to see, especially if on the side of damage onto forcing people in plat to just kind of means of protection. We do actually see them switching out for a Sploosh Neo and Vanilla Roll.
Sploosh Neo V Roller, and on the other side for LetsGetTheseSquadWinsForTheCrew going with the Inkling Tri-Stringer. Remember what that weapon has, but looks like it won't even matter as the Wavebreaker are going to be the first ones to score, using that Via Bomb to clear out more space towards me. That's Getting through this first one, popping this jet, stay alive, able to fend off one member of Wavebreaker, as right now chonker able to just stay points for now, but of course gotta be worried. This bubble's gonna be popped right here to give the tower, as they do really effortlessly.
Yeah, Wavebreaker quad PvP coming here on all sides to just stop with. But we do see on the side of the chonker, actually, their carbon getting a build and are looking to start pushing back.
Looking to start pushing back, but you see Sploosh the Sploosh is just doing what Sploosh, a lot of mayhem for chonker, doing just enough to keep them at bay and keep them away from that first checkpoint. Both actually, so 2v2 now, and the chonker, they've been kind of distracted, I will say, because you know they have a roller, you know they have to keep that in mind, and so far they've been doing a decent job of keeping them at bay. Mind you, they've only gotten past that first checkpoint, so they're still offensive pressure until just now where they're able to get towards that first checkpoint, but breaking it, that's gonna be a lot harder for them.
Yeah, or have specials that are capable of dealing with longer range weapons such as Booyah or Tri-Strikes here, just kind of forcing to take their checkpoint, which they can't even seem to be able to get done. Wavebreaker PvP just keeps coming in and out all sides. Regroup in a way to just actually deal with them.
I mean, yeah, they've just been flanking. First it's Toffles, then it's giving chonker a bit of breathing room. That's gonna do that really, really well. Get the bubble off as well, and get through that second checkpoint. Just Sploosh just dancing around as much as possible around this stage, just being a thorn in the side of not quite able to get any picks just yet, but they just did a really good job of just stalling. They stalled just enough to get back at just causing a nuisance for chonker.
I think if there's only one part of Sploosh Neo's kit that is not that bad, and at all sides and find weird angles to just actually be able to force chonker to have to deal with them. Right here is actually going to be able to put more pressure on Wavebreaker PvP. It seems that maybe Wavebreaker did take a little bit so it's too thin to try and take as many angles as possible here, but are still able to at least get back control of mid. To get back into the lead here, it's going to have to be a very big push back if they want to get to the lead.
They not only need to get your POV has just been, like I said earlier, they've just been swarming chonker. They've been keeping them uneasy, far away from the tower that they have not been able to get a lot of points. So they've only been able to score 30 points right now. In the final, as we get to that right hand drop, you see that drop, make sure someone's on it. You see fast, a lot, because I believe it was one member of Wavebreaker POV just ran at the tower. They got a pick, the set 2-0, just running at chonker for a majority of that game.
It is very interesting to note that it was, I think it was primarily those beacons on the side of Wavebreaker that just allowed them opportunity to find new ways to get their team in, which just forced a lot more of the map to have to be spreading themselves out very thin and having to just cover a lot more area of the map in order to actually take out those beacons.
Kind of switch their attention towards the beacons and not the sploosh, not the roll. There were too many things that LeChonker had to focus on if they wanted to win that. Just kind of exploited that. They knew that there wasn't enough members here. Let the members go, and they ran at them, and it worked really well because it kept them disorganized. Because that first checkpoint, after it felt like 4 minutes of that game, and from then on, when it got to overtime, it was just like you have cracks. That's the game right there.
Yeah, I think also this is kind of another thing to note as well, that just kind of help in defensive positions. If Wavebreaker POV needed to take a break or just do anything, and at least kind of help to slow down, give just a huge HP shield and start drawing away, especially from those strikes, to just give themselves time to get set back up.
Yeah. I believe it was LeChonker's first time they got to that first checkpoint. It was, and they just swarmed the tower, making LeChonker uncomfortable, getting picked. Good push that led to this win. So shout out to them. Shout out to a very good win and a very good POV. But with that, that'll be it for Nessie's pool for us. But don't go anywhere because we have a few minutes.
All right, and hello once again, SOS fans. We are back with great market featuring baked goodies and the jailers. Topic: what do you think of both of these?
Either of these two teams, unfortunately. I do know of Neptune for base goodies. What they play is a bow player, if memory serves correctly. So I'm a little unfamiliar, but we're gonna see. Hagglefish zones, you know, last set we talked about how, or it's common consensus that I will say this is Final Destination of Splatoon 3. It is a mostly of differences. It's just you go straight, you fight the enemy, and you keep going straight.
I would honestly use that to describe it as well. There's not really a whole lot of different sides here on this map. It kind of hard. Echo Mart. Although it does definitely have a much wider mid compared to Mako Mart here brought out. I think especially since I know you mentioned Ancient Wings possibly, bow here on this map is definitely pretty good, being able to set up on the tent and shoot arrows just overcross on this map.
Yeah, and another thing I want to talk about is when it comes to the weapons that we might be very popular because you can really take advantage of the ramp. You can get up to the side of baked goodies from the other side. I was right, it is the bow. Playing the incline bow along with very interesting from there, and I'm interested in baked goodies. That crab tent is going to be a very interesting combo for them.
Fans able to help push the trees in, and crabs able to help push the tent in, allowing both to kind of work as defensive options. Kind of pushing in immediately, allowing baked goodies to get the lead here after the Jailers had an initial push here to take the zone.
Hindrance for the Jailers isn't going to be that tent you can see, just causing a lot of mayhem, but fortunately for them, Jailers are able to get the zone. Able to get the zone, but not quite able to get a whole lot out of it. Look at they are finally able to paint up, get the members that they need, get the trade coming out from that tent will be enough to keep the baked goodies in, and now is a very dangerous spot for the Jailers. We see the tensile setup. You see as well pushing up into that flat area, making sure that they're very disorganized. No heavy edit, so no cooler for the Jailers. Can just hold here, and even if Jailers do fight back like they're doing right now, a lot of points have come off the board already.
Yeah, I think Ace has overall been in a very good position, being able to both take defensive positions, but also maintain those defensive positions with the tent and taking the zone back. Even as they are doing right now, the baked goodies always seem to have an option as to deal with those pushes.
To hold on, using that Booyah Bomb to just get more space, get their memories, and especially this Dread plus Damper, trying to make sure they going Reslider at the ready once again, probably going to use this to kind of snuff out any pushes from Big Goodies as they do pop cooler. Popularity along with the Zuka using all the specials at the same time, kind of comboing into each other, trying to get something. Reslider is going to get popped, but thankfully down, giving enough paint towards the zone to keep it neutralized for just a little bit longer. Baked Goodies though, they will find just enough to get far away. They were still on their court. They were still within striking distance of the zone. All it took was one little push.
Very close call though by baked goodies being able to get the zone back on 2 points. We are seeing their hit having to start but they definitely seem to be working out here as we see the hit get pushed back, but able to find the pick against it. Finally have maintained their position on their zone and are able to start pushing back in.
Pushing back in. What they're going to do is kind of fight this bro, get them off that top side. It's going to work along with getting the pick. Unfortunately for them, the Jailers are able in the possession of baked goodies as they're trying to fight their way forward. The Zuka though, getting a double kill, very, very helpful for baked goodies, getting the shot, just making sure that they have a lot of mobility and lots of just area that they can just fight around, which is very, very useful for them because right now are able to break through their penalty points and get a lot more, but not for long. I feel like we've been saying this over to just cap capture the zone again and again and again and keep the jailer or keep Big Goodies on their toes.
The jailers just have some really incredible options on their side. Inkjet, the Reefsider coming in here. There's that initial lead that they had taken and able to go and run wild with it in order to take game one here.
Yeah, and I think throughout the game, we saw it multiple times where they popped the cooler, they popped the Reefsider just to kind of clear out, kind of have jumping out right away. And I think that did a good job of not only taking some space, it also kind of separated even a temper of that to just kind of force their way forward and force good fights for them in their favor to win that game. But we're gonna, as we go to game number 2, TC Undertow, which I think we can both agree is basically a
I've seen this map gain a lot more traction and popularity as of recent. I think starting to initially see it, and now it's starting to make its way into a lot more places. This is a map I definitely think is like, it's got past the second checkpoint, then things start getting a little, it starts getting very snowball to like 2 seconds at the very start of the map. That doesn't really do much aside from just vaguely get bow or possibly another kind of bow that might be able to stop and force the tower.
I mean, I think if they possibly, but it looks like we're going to see sticking with that Inkling instead. With Hammer Fizzy on the other side, I believe that is I forgot the name of it, but the planets on with Zuka as well. So very, very aggressive comp for Bakery, swapping out that tent for a paintbrush to kind of get some. So far, it's not looking out for them. It's only about 2 members down, so a very, very interesting switch, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the double Zuka comp that Big Goodies was running with initially with that, which definitely I think will at least help in giving them a push back in. Don't get me wrong, seeing the defensive plant is awesome, but
yeah, but that pacing switch up is working out, and they are going to break that through that checkpoint and get towards the second one, which is going to be a bit difficult, maybe from above, making sure that this checkpoint is safe for now. We're going to see what they can do possibly here. The pencil just staying alive on possible keep able to stop it. Via bomb to kind of clear out some space. Perhaps going to be popped kind of in a really awkward position, but able to keep themselves alive. Up this pressure, they are able to once again get towards that second checkpoint. They have the members, just need the opportunity to break it. It looks like will do something, but not enough to the tower as it's still going, making its way towards that final checkpoint.
We're definitely able to take it back, but I think just some of the positioning was, I ended up getting put off a lot by just a lot of the different Zukas and we are going back into what seems to be a neutral here, but it's just, I think it's awkward positions where their weapons aren't really capable of doing much, just because of how many places on this map are segmented.
Again, that switch over to Paintbrush, which has been a swing of momentum for Baked Goodies that has been working out really. Unfortunately, not able to roll away unscathed from that bleed bomb, but even though they did go down, the Baked Goodies are just still rolling. No Zuka, or no Hammer, no Inkjet as well. A wipeout on top of that, and it looks like that will be it. And Baked Goodies will take the game kind of dominantly, I will say. That switch that Paintbrush did help their kind of overwhelmed the jailers there.
Yeah, I think especially just seeing the Paintbrush out here as someone that does main Paintbrush in the game is very awesome to see, especially with the Zuka one that I feel is very underrated, just because I don't think Wall is necessarily that bad on it. And I think this game showcased it off pretty much of option that other people could use, but also just helps to use in order to move around, which definitely helped a lot. Given this map, given Undertow is very segmented, definitely helps.
I'm talking about Baked Goodies. I think they might stay. I think it works really well for them. Not only the double Zuka, of course, the crab really helped. So I think they do a whole lot more damage because you have such a higher to see. It looks like they're sticking with that comp from the other side. I believe that's the same comp as well. So both these teams, they like what they like and they're gonna stick to it.
Yeah, I think especially coming to see the Dread come back out, which the Luna Neo had replaced in the tower game. Taking a hit on the left side and kind of forcing a lot of the team members on the jailers to have to back up here with wings. Zuka, but fortunately able to pop an image to get out of the way before he shot.
Not only to their snipe, but also to the rail right before and just making sure that the jailers just cannot go forward. Another 2 members are gonna go down for the jailers, and the clock is gonna still keep taking their jailers. Another one going down as well, and Baked Goodies are doing a really good job of just keeping up this momentum. 30 points remaining and still counting, trying their best to get this knockout in one. The Resider, though, is gonna stop the bleeding for now and get the jailers at least a little bit of breathing room. The Paintbrush will decide to drop in snipe here. It looks like the jailers are gonna get a little bit of something, but Baked Goodies are just starting where they left off. Another double, triple kill on top of that one, and still they have not left the jailers plat for a majority of the game. They've just been sitting here, and you know what? It's been working for them.
Yeah, I mean, it especially helps that Paintbrush is very good at being able to take care of weapons kind of that are on the other side that for the jailers that can even do that need to take time to get set up here. You see Baked Goodies getting that really fast and stop it, which they do end up pulling off, taking out 2 members, leaving Baked Goodies with 1 alive with a shot, so they have to back up now, as the jailers finally start taking some points down.
Yeah, that's good, but if you're good at Zuka, because you know that can be very, very deadly, Crab is going to be popped to try to clear out this left-hand side. It's like they get force a jump out as well. Back away, and Baked Goodies very good job of using that Crab, then using that Zuka to kind of spots, getting picks and forcing them to jump out as well. 2 minutes to go left in this game, and here are the jailers. The map has, for the most part, been painted yellow, and it looks like the Jailers just they've been getting their ways in, but they haven't been really sustainable. As you see, they're just painting the zone to end the game. It's gonna work. And another very, very good win for Baked Goodies, as they will win this set, and they will be the ones to move on.
Yeah. I mean, congrats here, both the Baked Goodies, but also even to the Jailers. I think just seeing some of their comps, and especially after seeing how Game 1 went, even when they were still dealing with double Zuka on the side of Baked Goodies, Jailers were still able to put up a really good fight. But it does seem like the double Zuka on the Baked Goodies may have just been a little bit too much here.
Yeah, I think it was the combo of the double Zuka and Crab, just that overwhelming offensive force, just kind of really put a damper in the Jailers attempted holds, because every time they tried, guess what? Azuka was there to clear out Snipe. Guess what? A Crab was there to clear out the right side. Guess what? There was a second Zuka to go off of that Crab. Now that 50 damage from the Crab explosion becomes a lethal shot to the Zuka. So just very good combos, very good of going in with those combos from Baked Goodies, and a very good set win for them as well.
Yeah. So they will be now moving on to round 2 here, which I think, fortunately, we're getting ready to hop out here now and swap over to our second comm block to begin round 2, and they'll take you all the way to the end for the remainder of SOS 205.
Yes, that will be it from us. But of course, before we go, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. So, Jokera, where can people find you?
You can find me at Supera Jokera on a lot of social media sites. I am on Twitter somewhat to an extent. I'm mostly on Blue Sky. However, and you can find me there just by adding the .bsky.social thing that a lot of Blue Sky ads tend to be. Where can people go to find you, Topic?
Yeah, you can find me over at Topical2, mainly on Blue Sky, but as Twitter as well, at Topic_2 on Discord. And also, if we're talking in person, you can find me at Anarchy Nova, happening on November 22nd in Washington, D.C. So if you're in that area, please come. It's going to be really, really fun. Also, Jokera over here is running their own land. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
I mean, sure, we can. I'm currently working with a group of lovely people, including JJ from Free Flow, SPF Dark, who's actually about to come in here and do commentary, Z, who is head staff for SWS, as well as Sam Apuris, who has done a bunch of streaming, and we are the heads for Don't Flounder at the Function, a new North Carolina LAN coming to y'all in January next year.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Another LAN. If you're in the North Carolina area, please do consider coming by. But with that, that'll be it from us. So don't go anywhere, because we have round 2 with SPF Dark and Jotion Jack coming up to you in a couple minutes. So stay right there, everyone.
Get ready for the next battle, ladies and gentlemen. Zaydem, so in between. My name is SPF Dark. We're coming at you live here at IPL to bring you SOS 205. And of course, though, I am joined by someone else here tonight.
Hello, hello, hello. As my lovely partner over there has said, I am your other commentator today, Jolteon Jack, and I am looking forward to this as we are heading into Great White here in SOS. Dark, how are you doing tonight? How are you feeling? I'm pumped. I'm good. I'm ready to see some action, some carnage.
Yeah, I'm also very, very excited. You know, I had a long day of work today, but nothing never gets me excited as commentating a game of Splatoon. And boy, oh boy, do we have these next few sets are going to be very exciting for you, heading deeper into Great White Shark. And of course, to kick off our first set of this block here, we have Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew versus Helios.
Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew is good to see again after their phenomenal run last week. They're looking to run it back and just like take home what they believe is rightfully there. Helios is a team that I am not familiar with, but I am interested to see how they do here on Mako Marth zones. As I saw from last week, this is a map that Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew actually does pretty well at. I'm expecting to see a lot of back and forth on this map.
Yeah, I mean, also part of that is just Mako zones being Mako zones. You know, it's relatively even enough that you could do a lot of different things here and get away with it. Me personally, I like to see a lot more blasters, buckets, and rollers, those kind of sharky weapons here because all the ledges, right? But there still is like a decent chunk of sight lines to really play around with like a lot of like more backline heavy comps. Like if you want to use like a Hydra or even an E-Leader, right? Those can actually have like a lot of useful here. It's what I really like about Mako Marth.
Yeah, I typically see a lot more rushdown on this map, based off of like the team comps that I typically play and the roles I typically work with. But it is a lot one that you can play around with if you have the right backline, and the right backline can shut down a lot of offensive pressure that you would see in this map, and that seems to be a theme throughout all three of these matches. Maybe less so Clan Blitz on Scorch Gorge here, our second game, but definitely Umami zones can be shut down if you have a good like pencil player or something similar, because they can be oppressive down those lanes.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of this set is going to be really going up to who can set up the best, especially on this first map here. Mako Zones can, it's not necessarily as bad as Umami Ruins, right? But it's bad. It's definitely a lot worse than it can be on Scorched Gorge with Clan Blitz, you know? So I think this is a good kicker to see exactly how these two teams will be trying to play things out here. And of course, as a reminder, folks, here now we're in the bracket series of SOS Great White bracket. We are going from a playoff 3 to a best of 3. So whoever wins their first two games here in the set will be moving on, while the loser will be sent home here.
Yeah, it's sink or swim, as our name suggests right here. This is where the real Squid and Octo Kids get started, and we're gonna see who's better than the rest, who can control the.
Very much eyeing these two weapon comps here. For the crew here on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, Helios. Something also not too that outlandish, in all honesty.
Not at all. A bit different than what I saw last week for Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew, but still stuff they were used to. One down on each side right now, though an early lead for Helios. The zone is back and forth right now. An early crab out here from John forced him back out. The long throw on that burst bomb. I always love to see that. Unfortunately, goes down to the pencil right there. Zone once again goes back into neutral. Two down on the side of Helios right now. They got a cooler, and it looks like Zone is going to be flipped. So Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew. They're going to play some box out right here. They could lead.
Yeah, a good opener for the crew here to get things rolling on their side. Pancake at the ready to stall out Helios as much as they can to get away with those points. Two down, especially on the side of Helios, means that they're going to be able to run away with a huge amount of points here. And Tactical online once again means that they can go on the offensive, keep this momentum going in their favor. Triple ink strikes coming out to slow down once again Helios. They're struggling to keep up, but they all going to play out a waiting game here. All it takes is one mistake, and Pencil going out means that Helios can definitely get a swing here.
One of their teammates is forced to jump out, but jumps immediately back in. And they're down to 25 points right now, and the only person Helios had in zone is now down. One down on either side. There's 10 points left right now. In 3, 2, 1, easy game for Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew. Quick set.
Yeah, a very solid opening for the Crew here, as they really, genuinely, as we mentioned earlier, once they got set up here on with Mechamar specifically, they were able just to continually shut Helios down over and over again, especially with those, I was kind of blown away by their just continual rotation of their specials to keep Helios tempered and offbeat and just constantly like on the back pedal there. It was really amazing to see.
I agree. A lot of times that I've been in competitive, that we've talked a lot about special coordination, using specials with each other to try to maximize their potential. But that was a great instance of using specials to supplement each other as the specials end. We saw the crab tank come out with, and then as soon as it ends, the tacticooler comes out, and once the tacticooler is about to run out, the Zipcast came out to just keep full usage of everybody's kit, like just make sure it's used maximum potential, and it worked to great effect as they essentially got that game without Helios being able to score more than 10 points. We'll see how this next game goes, because Scorch Gorge is once again a map that you can sort of get boxed out on, but I feel like it's a bit harder than Mekomar. There's definitely a lot more avenues to get out of base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Scorch Gorge Clan Blitz is definitely be a lot more slower than Zone's Mechamar, simply because, in my opinion, is that it's just Clan Blitz. You know, there's going to be a lot of fighting in mid to try and get that first crucial opening to really get those first initial points on their side. But even then, a big point of contention here on this map specifically is the ramp leading up to that Clan Basket. You have good control of that ramp. You could be losing a lot of the fights in mid, but you have a solid control on that ramp. They are not going to be able to score any points off of you, and the same could be vice versa. As the attacker, you want to make sure you have control of that ramp as you're going on a lot of those clams. So that's gonna feel. I feel like it's gonna be something a lot of both these teams really gotta be watching out for here.
I agree with that. I mean, hey, we see too much change up in terms of team comp that much. Maybe one of the pencils will drop, but even then, not. Game from Helios, as they're just trying to see if they can adapt in terms of pure strategy right now as we head into game 2.
Yeah, really the only major differences here are just alternate kit swaps here from both sides for the Crew running the new Splashmatic, while the Seek from Helios here running the alternate kit for the Nautilus here. And it's going to be hard to say exactly why these teams opted to go for these alternate kits. Well, I guess we'll see here as the game gets going. But it's beautiful opening for the Crew here to get those initial picks and immediately convert that to an instant basket pop as we see the step here going in, pulling the distraction, pulling the attention from Helios to get them more clams scored.
Great usage of teamwork right here. While 3 members were distracting, 1 member jumped back to grab as much eco as they can and build special right here. That's an immediate tool, which will get this team a lifeline and allow them to keep getting eco in. They're already down 50 points. Made that 44. Now, we're less than a minute into the game. They've already knocked down half their score, but it looks like that push is over as Helios is able to rebound and get a quick little delayed wipeout right here and begin making their assault. They have a lot of eco to work with now, but they need to work together so they don't get picked off one by one in terms of the Crew.
Yeah, good recovery here to actually try and apply some pressure on the re-engager for the Crew here, and that pick too as well could get things swinging, but still a 1-1 trade being forced to pop this button to try and force their way through this ramp. Like I mentioned beforehand, this ramp control is such a huge portion of this game, but they managed to break through, but I don't think they'll be able to get any additional plans off that, as for the Crew is able to just lock it down very well here.
Yeah, with the death of all of their offense, the pop of that crab, that push is done, but it was a push indeed. They have shown that they can break through the Crew's defense right here, but they need to work together. Unfortunate, Shark still does go through, even though the initial burst bomb didn't work out. Trying to just, that wasn't a burst bomb, they threw a suction bomb at the wall and exploded it immediately. Ingenious, able to get a wipeout right there by themselves. Chasing after the crab. Unfortunately, the crab had enough armor to turn around at point blank. Burst shot and had enough time to jump out, but that still will allow the Crew access to the ramp right here as they have enough plans for a push.
Yeah, no, the crew here doing a very well job of just keeping these stalwart here in mid, not letting these 1 or 2 picks really get them, applying constant pressure to Helios, choking them out at this point with how much paint they have covered here in mid, and now playing the slow and steady game, getting pick after pick, special after special to finally clear the path and get the plans into the time basket once again, looking to try and extend the lead even further, even shut down the game here, and look at all that yellow for the crew playing so far up that Helios is just really drowning in yellow ink right now.
Yeah, they don't got a lot of paint on the ground. They do manage to pick off most of the offense, but with this jump, that might seal the deal, and it does! Both, they were able to jump back to base and get their pity clam, and then had enough time to build a third power clam to seal the deal, taking the set 2-0. Solid sweep for the crew. This SOS. Whew, they are back for more. They want to make up for what happened last week. They want to secure their victory. They're not going home without a W.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's get this win for the crew here. Really wants to take this white bracket home, and man, oh man, this set just shows how much they want it. And I mean, it's not to knock down Helios either. They were actually doing a pretty well job of at least keeping up with for the crew here for the majority of these past 2 games. But it's just for the crew with their special rotations. I think that was the key for their victory here, and really utilizing their specials to their full advantage to constantly keep that constant pressure off of Helios, giving them no breathing room whatsoever.
The bomb placement from their dually player was also something like just textbook. I love the usage of also playing around the splash wall to try to like get maximum efficiency of that. It was a wonderful work, but as you said, Helios did put up quite a fight. Their push in the beginning there, if they had not like staggered like they did in the beginning right there, they could have very easily bridged the gap. Trying to figure out right here if we are going to play the last game. I know you said earlier we don't, and I am sure that is very much the case. We're hovering over it, and I wonder if we will see more.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure these teams are moving on to their next sets here, as I do believe our next round actually is just about ready here in just a moment. We won't be going on a break, but we will actually, in fact, be moving on to round number 3, semifinals, actually, for our Great White Bracket. And if I can get a confirmation as to which set we'll be looking at, I think I know which set we'll be looking at here next, folks, but I want to make sure get a fact. Waiting for round 2. Bracket seems to be finished here, but you know what? There, yeah. Hold on. Yes.
As we wait for the mystical bracket above to deliver on to us what our next fight will be, it looks like the information has descended down upon us, and though it may not be clear to you, dear viewer, me and Dark are now able to view that it is indeed Usagi Fanclub versus Sun Eater for our first semifinal match right here. Ooh. We started the game off with the crew, and now we're heading back to Usagi. I'm back. I'm back in last week. I'm right back there, folks. It's gonna be a rerun, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, no.
That's what it's shaping up.
Usagi Fanclub, a previous winner of SOS, relatively recently, as you just mentioned here, back once again here in the bracket and tearing it up as they did last week. Now moving into semifinals, we are moving from best of 3 to best of 5 here, so we get a little bit more gameplay for the folks here at home and for our own viewing entertainment here to really drive out these stories. And man, oh man, kicking these off with Zones, Barnacle, and Dime as well, I'm very excited to see this.
I'm very tempted to see this as well. Again, I know Usagi Fanclub from last week, but like last set, I'm unfamiliar with Sun Eater, and I'm hoping I get to see a lot of them. I want to see what these teams got. I want to see the back and forth. I want it to go 2-2, and then to see who emerges victorious at the end of a long, grueling fight. And on Barnacle Dime not Clam Blitz. I'm used to seeing this map on Clam Blitz. Barnacle Dime Slat Zones. That might just very well be the case, because this is a fairly even map. This is a very back and forth. It got multiple areas for entry. Those lanes on the side are great for sharking weapons as well as blasters, which I know Usagi Fanclub do seem to enjoy. And I'm just wondering how Sun Eater will adapt to just the offensive might that the fan club is able to bring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm very... it's as you mentioned earlier. I'm very excited to see exactly how things play out here. This really is going to be a very interesting set to watch here. And moving into the bracket, you know, these players have been playing for quite a bit of time at this point. So really is at this point, as much as it is a test of these players' skill, it's going to be a test of these players' stamina. And sure, you might say some of these players and some of these teams may have actually done like those weekend-long runs at the NA League that's currently happening right now, and they might have the stamina built up for it, but some might not. And you know, we may potentially see exactly who is ready for these longer-running series, especially you know making through semifinals, heading into grand finals, into a bracket reset. You're playing for quite a long time.
I mean, hey, if they're playing for a long time, that means I get to commentate for a long time, which is no, that's no skin off my back. This is more for me. I'll just sit back, eat some popcorn, and try not to choke on it as I scream and like shout and like, oh my gosh, and it's gonna be a fun time. I feel.
Yeah, that's always gonna be a fun time here, and I'm eager as these two teams are just patiently waiting out, getting their strategies ready, getting them ready for this next set here. And as we're waiting, I do want to circle back a bit on Barnacle and Dime zone specifically. You did mention that Clams is the more common option we kind of see here, right? But zones is still just I think anyways it's just as common, just a little bit on the not as much on that end. But zones Barnacle and Dime is interesting because a lot of the times you kind of see stuff like Reslider make their way into these kinds of maps because Reslider, being the special that it is, can kind of just instantly flip the zone to honestly, the enemy team surprise. Yeah,
I'm honestly surprised we didn't see it on Mako at all.
Yeah,
like, I was genuinely surprised.
Here on, and you know, I don't know if we'll actually see it here or not. I don't remember if the last time I saw Usagi Fanclub, if they had it. I don't know them well enough to know exactly, be able to like tell right around here if they'll have one or not. But
only one way to find out, my friend.
Yeah. Getting ready to kick off this first set. We'll see exactly what stuff is going to be online for this game here.
We got no Reef Sliders, much to you and me's, I don't know. Comp from the side of Usagi Fanclub with a double bubble and cooler comp mixed with a Booyah Bomb. This is a very defensive, as you might think right here. Fairly standard comp on the side of Sun Eater. That splash down will be very helpful, but unfortunately the Diao goes down. Of the mighty toothbrush right there. That is the power of that hitbox, which I have never been on the wrong end of it, and it killed me when it shouldn't. No name barely avoiding that well-played suction bomb right here, and time is continuing to count down. 2 members down on the side of the Usagi Fanclub.
And now eventually on their board here, not necessarily a bad spot, but could have been a little bit better if they really wanted to get things going here. Now Usagi Fanclub are now a little bit on the back foot here, struggling to fight against Sun Eater as they're slowly pushing back further and further. And a good pick here from the Pencil does slow down that momentum though. Now looking to try to apply their own pressure here as they look up over on this ledge to see exactly if they can get another pick off there and try and put this on potentially from the Sun Eater with these picks here, moving in quickly, and a quick punish that they do.
That they do, and they got this bubble unlocked that will probably use around this area. I don't know how. Oh, the suction bomb. I was like, excuse me? How did that work out? Now, they were on the other side of the thing. I was about to say Decap can now go. Now, finally, this is a good spot right here, forcing the Sun Eater member of the team to no name to press up. Splashdown, unfortunately, doesn't get anyone, but might allow them down right there. Winter, great little snipe right there from the E-Leader. Wavebreaker. Now, as the points just continue to trickle down. Fanclub, though, they need the pain if they want to get back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I failed to mention so far in this game here is this E-Leader. If he gets set up, it can do a lot of damage to the weapon card that Usagi Fanclub has there. They only have that Booyah Bomb to really use to displace the E-Leader. So in a situation like this, things are not looking that great for Usagi Fanclub as they're just kind of cornered down in here, looking to desperately play any angle they can to close the distance to the E-Leader. Usagi Fanclub is too scattered to really take advantage of those picks there. But no, in the midst of all that chaos, Usagi Fanclub moves in, gets the picks, gets the flip.
Very beautiful usage of bubble and cooler right there, able to use it to get quick good angle or progressively use the Fanclub Fanclub is keeping their distance. Bubble coming out right here, just trying to keep people out. Right now, they do manage. 2 down on the side of Sun Eater, 1 down on the side of the Fanclub, but they're back in phase 2. That thing. Splashdown right here, not going to clip anyone, and Booyah about to counter and on the timer. 5, 4, 3, and it is over. I couldn't see.
No, a very good coordination of such at the end, and I want to say a good patience there from the S-Class player to really hold on to that Booyah bomb right to the proper moment to be able to cover the zone before it could potentially get flipped. Because Splashdown can surprisingly flip the zones just as easy as a reslider it does, if not even easier time due to how wide an area it can cover. So holding that Booyah bomb really just kind of helps secure that victory at the end there.
Yeah, very, very smart usage of specials at the end there. To the comment of Splashdown or Reef Slider. Reef is more consistent probably, because Splashdown you can destroy the main person. You can obviously destroy like the triple Splashdown clones that spawn in, which can very much hinder the paint. Like if you destroy one of them, like the paint is like gone from that special. Like it's honestly crazy like how much it is reduced if just one of them is removed. But I do feel like it paints it in a way that the zone in a way that it does typically flip zone more often. Like not just flip into neutral, but full on take it. At least that's been my experience so far.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these questions can be really like nuanced if you really sit down and just sort of break down what they can and can't do. So it's hard to say exactly what might be right in what specific situations, but it's part of the game, and those special usage really can make or break what sort of game plan these two teams we bring along here. Do they want to keep the double bubble and the Booyah bomb from Usagi Fanclub?
I'm hoping we see that Umbrella, because it was a star of last set. We do not the blast S-Blast from Tufa on the side of Sun Eater right now. They're trying to mimic the side. Jovan switching to a Splatana. We might see Fanclub. They're moving efficiently already. Here's from Jovan trying to get a pick, but does manage to get 2 with the help of their space that you watch the game. Does manage. Ace is just hanging out right here down with the help of their teammates. That bubble is not going to go out. 3 down on the side of the Fanclub now putting into the thing. The stamp is avoided by 1. No name barely avoided death, but unfortunately their friend was not so lucky. And it looks like once again, Usagi Fanclub has control of the tower.
Yeah, good opener from Usagi Fanclub to get those first points on the board. They're now trying to test this tech point here. Booyah bomb being popped to force pressure from under this tent, so they can first tech point cleared with ease. And now heading to that second tech point. This is when things can get very dicey from both ends. Things can spiral out of control if Sunnyder's not careful. But a pressure from the tower, from the front line to allow Sunnyder to retake mid and start re-engaging this fight here. Pass.
3 minute and 30 has gone, but this is what the Fanclub is looking for. Ace trying their best to survive right here, pushing with one member of the Fanclub back into the corner. Popping Whale here to just continue the pressure. They can't let another lead happen. They have to hold time for the rest of their team to spawn back in, and they do manage to do that, but unfortunately one is already down. Yet again, 2 specials ready for the side of the Fanclub, a bubble and a Booyah bomb, which they seem to be waiting to use for great effect as they are once again using this tower.
Yeah, this bubble can be used here for the second check, which can really cover a lot of areas, allow that tower running with a lot of points here. Booyah bomb popped a little bit too early, in my opinion, from Sun Eater. Doesn't really get too much usage there, but maybe it allows Sun Eater to actually move on top of that and really get this tower back to a neutral state. And now with Usagi Fanclub gets the flip just like that.
Just as Sun Eater was starting to get points on, I do not know how to manage this. Immediate counter sniped by the E-leader right there, taking 2 down on the side of the fan club. That'll probably put it into their little advancement right here. Ace, once again back in mid, and worried about a Booyah Bomb. Unfortunately goes down once they peeked out from behind their splash ball. I love rolling torpedoes on the ground. It's such a good way to catch people's feet. It's a good damage. Immediate double kill right here. And once again, despite the fact that it seemed like Sun Eater had an opportunity for a good offense, the fan club has once again stolen hope from them as they are pushing it in. There's only a minute and a half left on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, there's something that Usagi Fan Club is doing here to constantly just disrupt Sun Eater, whether it's just their usage of Booyah Bomb to get that E-leader out of position, or just their dueling power on their front line to get their frontliners scrambling. It's really working well in their favor here. And now that second checkpoint, Booyah Bomb is going to try and stall it out. Garrett gets the pick, and as both these two teams are trying to contest the tower here, it's only Javon left standing, but no, instantly gets shut down by Tupa. And now with 1 minute remaining, they have a lot of ground to cover there if they want to contest this lead. And with the 1 minute and how the Usagi Fan Club has been playing so far, it's going to be a tough mountain to climb.
It's going to be a tough mountain to climb, especially when all that ground that you were talking about is covered in enemy paint. They got so much yellow on the ground here. Tufa trying to get their teammate out of there alive, but unfortunately is a little too late. Doing this Splatana, the blaster Splatana does jump out right there. The blaster goes down to 18. Good teamwork. Gets the perfect shot on the but unfortunately they go down to the Splatana. No, the Booyah Bomb canceled. They do make it to checkpoint right here, which is what they need. The teammates threatened it. The hammer throw does not manage to get it, but with the burst damage and the pencil, they are able to get them off the tower. Need to hold on right here.
I mean, this would be a scramble for tower control here. Usagi Fan Club, though, at the advantage with so much pain on their side here. But I don't think it's going to be enough time there as both two teams make a try and make an overtime victory. Usagi Fan Club snuffs it out and takes the set 2-0.
And Splatana up on the tower immediately. Oh my, Shindy, bam! Just immediate direct, and that will seal the game for Usagi Fan Club. But hey, they're not out of it yet. Remember, this is first to 3 right now that we're in semifinals. It's very possible for Sun Eater to bring this back, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope they do so as we're heading to Ship Shape Cargo Co. for some more Splat Zones.
Yeah, Ship Shape Cargo Company Splat Zones. This can be a very scary map on either side. Usagi Fan Club being a lot more aggressive and a lot more faster than Sun Eater has been in these past 2 games can really get a lot of momentum going on their side. But the thing is, if Usagi Fan Club missteps and it gets unfortunately like 3 down or a wipeout on their side, Sun Eater sets up, especially with if they bring back this Ealer here, they can absolutely do devastating damage within lockout scenario and just run away with a monstrous amount of points.
I very much, yeah, no, this is a map that you can really easily get locked out on, and I can see a lot of back and forth on this map, but if you get held back into your base, you are not getting out of there. I do wonder how the teams might change up comps. I mean, I brought it up last game, but like this is a team that the Brella would very much like to play on. But again, that blaster has been putting in work, so I don't know if we'll be seeing much change from the fan club. Sun Eater, though, a big thing in competitive Splatoon is adaptation. Not just the adaptation in terms of changing comp, but also mental. It is a mental game. You need to figure out why you're getting shut down by the opposing team and do what you can to counter that, whether that is comp change, whether that is difference in strategy, whatever it takes, both in preparation before going into the game and mid-game. And if Sun Eater wants to stay in this set, they
do or die at this point. You need to be making these adaptations, if now more than ever, because well, at the very least, eligible for their bronze placement match after this match here, but no one wants do or die in terms of for that gold medal here. Both these two teams very confident in what they've been running so far in terms of most of their comps. At least Sun Eater, though, switching out from the E-leader and going on a full frontline assault with the inclusion of the Gao and the vanilla dualies.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if they want to meet, the immovable object route wasn't working, so how do you beat an unstoppable force? Potentially another unstoppable force. And we see right now, Usagi Fanclub does take lead right now, but it's just mostly a mid-off right now. They're just scrambling to get hits right now. Somehow gets 2 splash with just 1 swing right now, leaving Ace by themselves to try to push. They do manage to get the pencil and are looking to get the kill on this jump. They do. Oh, able to get 4. Yes, they are securing the lane wipeout right here. This will allow Sun Eater to flip the zone. However, things that cooler. Usagi Fanclub is already back into the fight for the most part. Their pencil is back in their base, but 2 members are up on top of left stack, but now Sun Eater has their own cooler, and they are hoping to hold this game now that they are in control.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mass double in mid there. It was looking like Sun Eater was gonna get that first solid hold here, but with a wipe out there, Usagi Fanclub getting better cleanup man and looking to try and keep Sun Eater in place there. They weren't able to move up fast enough to get them in a lockout scenario here, but with this aggression here from their front line, Usagi Fanclub looking to try to keep them down as long as they can. Unfortunately, they're just now both of these 2 teams are just fighting it out in mid, seeing who can pressure off of the other.
Hey, don't underestimate Tiny Bubble. It's still got the strength of a normal bubble, and I feel like people leave it alone, and then oops, that's the entire enemy team in your back line. Hey, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it managed to get much usage right here, but as Zone once again is in neutral, but with most of Usagi Fanclub down, it looks like it will flip right here, but it is just staying in neutral right now. They were able to hold out. That's 2 going down right there behind that splash wall. You can't group up too closely when there's a decap and a blaster on the team, but it once again flips it over. Javon right here senses somebody is nearby and is just looking for the kill, trying to get it, but unfortunately trying to pressure that bubble, but that bubble will hold too strong. No Name needs to play this smart, and the crowd coming out right here on the side of Sun Eater. They need to work
to really keep their control on the zone for as long as they can, going through their penalty points, and now they're running away with some actual points. They're forcing a chunk of specials from Sun Eater as well. On top of that, they weren't able to convert too much off of that. With 3 down from the Sun Eater, Usagi Fanclub with a wipeout there as well. I do believe that's going to be game, set, and match, because there's no way Sun Eater is going to be able to re-engage fast enough before that timer hits 0. With that being said and done, with a clean 3-0 in favor of Usagi Fanclub, they move on to grand finals.
Unfortunately, that Booyah was a couple seconds too late. Usagi Fanclub will be heading into finals where they might have the run back of the century with their old enemy, the Crew. But that depends on whether or not the Crew wins their match in semifinals here, as we are still waiting for the results of the other match. But this was a good set, and I am excited for finals.
I am very much excited for finals, but of course with that 3-0 taking place, we are still waiting on the other side of the bracket to finish up their match. So we'll be going on a quick break here, folks, so don't go anywhere just yet. We'll be right back. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, in between. We're here with our grand final set. We're going to be watching Usagi Fanclub. We just saw them here, and let's get these squads wins for the crew here. A rematch from last week. And of course, Joti and Jack is here once again to bring on these grand final sets with me.
I prophesized. I saw history repeats itself, and now we are seeing it once again as the run back of the century is about to commence. We got the fan club versus the crew. Who will emerge on top? Will the fan club be able to emerge triumphant, or will the crew once again take home their backstage passes and head to a lovely concert with them? We're gonna find out, because our first match will be Hagglefish Market Zones, what I often hear as the final destination of this game. So we'll see. This is truly where we see how the teams have adapted to each other, how over these many games of playing against each other in these past tournaments, how they know each other and how they will play against each other. I know I brought it up in the literal past 3 games, folks, but I am really hoping that I see that Tenebrella, and that's just because it's the closest thing to Dynamo that I know we will possibly ever see from these teams, and I'm in denial and coping.
I will say, if Javon feels like bringing out their weapon, we might see one of the regular Splatbrellas here tonight, but I don't think they play Tenebrella here. But I digress. Here, kicking these off zones with Hagglefish Market. We have seen Hagglefish Market already in the last set, but so remains the same here, and it's just the fact that I think that's gonna be a lot of
very highlight. But the crew might very much do the same to them, or we might just see them have a 96 cal deco. That will definitely allow them to have a lot more range over most members of the crew, as well as a wonderful special in Kraken to try to get some picks with a bit of dispersion off to the side there, but unfortunately not able to get any picks right now. Most teams just trying to play for control. And we do see the first special top being some coolers and a bubble though right here. One does go down on the side of the crew. Can that stand make that 2? A split. Oh, the Kraken and the wonderful Zip Cap coming out right there. That'll put it in. The Kraken is able to get one more right there. This is a wonderful start for Usagi Fan Club.
Yeah, good special coordination there from Usagi. And is able to practically get a virtual wipe out there, taking them all the way back to their side of the map here. And now with this pressure, with them properly set legends there and keep the crew from being able to advance and move forward, and it's showing how effective it can be. And they're just running away with these points.
That they are. Zipcats once again coming out right here, hoping to get some picks or at least draw attention away from the advancing members of the club, but unfortunately they do go down. That Stamp needs to come out if it wants to be effective. Booyahman right here, that's 2 down on the side of the fan club. That Booyahman might take someone. Stamp coming out here, does catch one, but unfortunately goes down. It seems like that might be the end of it, but no, the Kraken is able to buy enough time, and it shuts down the rest of the crew's forward advance. That was lovely bit of teamwork right there. Just a great stalling of time, and they keep control of the zone with only 9 points left. Is it gonna flip? It does. That sends a massive penalty. 69. Nice. Penalty points on the side of Usagi Fan Club as the zone is in control of the crew once again.
Yeah, a lot of painting from Usagi Fan Club to get that zone life on their end, but inevitably they fell to the crew here, and now for the crew is looking to get things going on their side, but the Kraken comes out on the left-hand side to Usagi Fan Club to flip the fight, gets 2 in the process, just like that. Usagi Fan Club quick to on their feet to flip the zone to try and get those points back under control here, as they have focus at the ready. Cap coolers online, they have Ultra Stamp at the ready here, being ready to pop at any second, and Usagi Fan Club has now in the driver's seat once again.
God, this Kraken is monstrous. This is hey, I was talking about adaptations. This was not present last week, and this is putting a stop to a lot of the crew's advances right here. They're working down their penalty right now at about 35 points left. One member of the crew does go down to the thing. You can't stagger right here. Make that 2. That bubble might be shredded, but unfortunately it does get shut down right here. 20. Here it comes right now.
Kraken gets one, but the thing is here that there's not a lot of points for Usagi Fanclub to close. They can, doing what they can, it is not enough as Usagi Fanclub holds it strong.
It was a beautiful, beautiful game one. That was the adaptation that I love to see in this game. You know what the opposing team has. They know what you have, but then you surprise them. Not just with maybe a little change in comp, but a change in strategy. They were ready for the Crew's offensive line this time, and they were able to subvert it and use it to their own advantage, giving the Crew a taste of their own medicine. But right now we're out of the market where we bought that beautiful medicine, and let's see if it survives all the way back to school as we head to tower control on Inkblot Art Academy. The Kraken will still be useful here. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, Inkblot Art Academy moving on here as the one of the, and if I'm gonna say this here, I think one of the most played map mobs here in the scene. Everyone's known it. It's been a staple, not just 3, but all the way since the days of Splatoon 2. And getting a seed played here once again. I'm very much excited to see exactly how the teams will be playing it around this time around. I mean, it's just a staple for a reason. There's a lot of versatility in map terrain, in strategies, and how you want to be able to play it out. And it is a soft case, but because it's a soft case, you can take these soft angles into different routes and avenues that favors your team.
Hey Dark, buddy, I think we messed something up. So, to any fans that were actually paying attention to that match, unlike our lovely commentators here, you would realize that the people who won that game were actually Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew, and not Usagi Fanclub. We very much apologize for the mistake on our parts, folks. The colors seem to got flipped around in the name board there, and we do not know why, and we very much apologize. It was actually, for any stolen valor that might have occurred right there, that was actually Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew, taking it 1-0. Usagi Fanclub went up 2-0, and then Squad once again reverse sweep them. Will not happen, which would have been heartbreaking too.
It is a best of 5, so we're not necessarily out of the count just yet, even though for the Crew is up 1. Match number 2. We see exactly these teams aren't bringing actually anything too different here yet again. Very confident what they've been running so far.
Okay, this time the colors are correct as we have Usagi Fanclub and the blue one member down being their S-class versus Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew up in the yellow right here. Already a bubble ready to go right here from Ryu, just trying to get some picks as well as just I don't know what I was trying to say right there. The re-jump though is great. It's just getting that cooler right there. The stand coming in from the right side might be enough, but they are immediately shut down, though they do take that trade. Once again, the mini splat lane is not in a very good situation, and unless they're going to pop that bubble, they need to get out of there. They do manage to get 1 kill. So, you know, who am I even saying? They managed to get 2 on that Splatana without even breaking a sweat right there. They have the advantage in terms of player count, but I don't know if they have the space advantage to take it. I mean, hey, they're shredded right now. The rest of their team is held up on the right side right here, though, so they need to work together so they can actually get a push going.
Yeah, a lot of people underestimate the mini strat link for multiple reasons. It's a surprise pick that I don't think a lot of people have truly realized the full value to. I am a mini truther here, and I have always believed in this weapon, and I think I'm very happy this is now getting some of the recognition it's needed. Finally, Rayo does go down here as Usagi Fanclub is just slowly keep control of it as best they can. Ultra stuff going on the other side, but unfortunately it's cancelled now. The Crew has the opportunity here to go on the offensive well. Their own ultra stamp there, but unfortunately gets cancelled once again. That is one way to show off that special.
Me to her said, hey, I checked my clock and it is not hammer time right here. Sit your butt down. And once again, they're headed in right here, pressuring that pencil, forcing them to jump out. This will allow the Fanclub to get that lead in terms of points. But unfortunately, here comes the Kraken chasing me to her, who is desperately just trying to get out of here. But once again, the hammer is like, okay, I was a little bit early, but let's see how you like it now. Gets 1, gets 2 right here, and with the throw, might get 3. Unfortunately, no, but that would have been pretty high.
Yeah, and now both teams, I'm realizing now there's not a lot of points on the board from either side. It has been a relative stalemate for majority of this game here. Usagi Fanclub just barely ahead by a hair in this set, looking to potentially be the one to finally break through this first checkpoint, but no, we see the crew, the own Wiper here, being able to take two from Usagi Fanclub, but to no avail, they do manage to go through this first checkpoint at the end of the day. And now Bubble is set up here. This could be a huge sweep for Usagi Fanclub, depending on how they play this out.
Pencil is a born survivor. I swear they avoided that Splatana, like weaving back in before as if they were shadow boxing. They do make it through the second checkpoint right here. Second checkpoint right here. That's absolutely rapidly closing in on that third one. That Booyah will be able to catch and meet her. Just poking in. That's two down on the side of the crew right now. They are all getting on that tower to try to get through it as well as possible. But that's a zip caster that's coming in right here. And the Kraken. Unfortunately, the members on the tower goes down. The hammer throw is unable to pierce through Kraken, however. So they are able to clear out the rest of the crew, but they made it through the checkpoint right now. And with 9 points left, that is a massive lead with only 1 minute and 50 seconds left on the clock. Doable, but very difficult for the crew.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that the crew managed to commit a lot of specials there to get Usagi Fanclub out, and now when this one's being used to try and get this re-engagement in mid here already, they're not going to be able to have the power to push up too far here in this incoming push here. But the Kraken is going on the deep end, gets to Usagi Fanclub before he's forced down, and they're able to clear that first checkpoint at the very least. Tactical online for them means that he keeps this offensive going without too many repercussions. Usagi Fanclub starting to reconsider their approach here, looking to try and go on the back side on the flank to surprise the crew, and that they do, slowing down this tower at least for a little bit, sending those jump-ins home, and now they have control of mid once again.
Yeah, down to about 1 minute left on the clock right here. Ryu just trying. They're underneath the ledge. That was my favorite thing to do back in Splatoon 2, and now that it happens to me, I get really sad. You see the throw, unfortunately, just comes to Kraken, but unfortunately they're unable to save their teammate from getting absolutely shut down right here. Nori Prime goes down right here. Second hammer, the throw barely misses by the skin of the pencil player's teeth. There are 30 seconds left on the clock right now, and with 2 members of the crew down, make that 3 members down, they're going to be hard pressed to get into that zone.
Yeah, no, this is not looking good for the crew here as they are 3 back on their side of the map. 15 seconds remaining. Usagi Fanclub knows the win condition. They don't need to go on the offensive there. They just need to make sure they can stop the crew from being able to get to this tower. It's a mad brawl here in mid to try and stay alive in this game for the crew here, and they could potentially get an overtime victory. The bubble being forced out here and shoves for the crew away as Usagi Fanclub steals this tower and takes this first game on their side, bringing it to 1-1.
With a little hop onto a tower and a little spin and a little bubble, and you are securing in your victory right there, Usagi Fanclub. For real this time. Our bad for what happened game 1. It is now 1-1 as we are about to head into game 3 right here. Back and forth as we head to Splat Zones Robo Ramen.
Zones Robo Ramen is one of my personal favorites here in this game, simply because of just the huge amount of area you can like play around with. There's the underside you can try and flank around with. There's decent sight lines to really use those backlines to their fullest capabilities, but it's not without cover. You know, you have a lot of verticality in this map for the frontliners to take cover against those. I believe it's probably one of the best maps that they made to date, and I very much love it.
You're saying that, and I'm just kicking my feet like a little schoolgirl, because I'm like, yeah, I love this map. This map's pretty awesome. It's pretty great. I will not get to see anything of what I typically do. Dream. An Inkling can dream out here, and I have been loving what both sides have been. This map can be. I'm hoping to see it go down to the wire as the previous 2 games have, as we same comp on the side of the fan club. Let's get wild.
Yeah, for the crew here, sticking with their Kraken mainstay, the double sword mode there. I very much have been intrigued by it so far. Usagi Fanclub has just been sticking it through and through with the double bubble trouble they have on their side. And it's kind of working out in their favor here with that quick bubble on the first side to be able to at least start off point for as long as they did here. Hypernova using the stamp to try and cause the mayhem, disrupting Usagi Fanclub's own positioning here and manages to get the first hold of the zone.
Yeah, even though they traded it and only managed to get one kill, it did force the rest of the team to jump out and regroup. And with that Kraken securing 2 more kills, that'll allow the crew to just continue their jump. And with that little super jump right here, they are still back in the game right now. 2 specials on the side of both teams right now as the points are just counting down on the side of the crew, almost down to 50. They are going to go past the halfway mark right here as a cooler and a bubble and stamp combo tries to secure the zone, but it flips immediately. A counter stamp right here gets shut down, but that bubble is straight 2 down on either side, but it does look like the Fanclub is going to be able to push in right here and take control of the zone, giving the crew a massive penalty.
Good opening for the crew here as they were able to get 37 points remaining on their first hold. Very good, especially with how lockout heavy this game can be. This was probably the best case scenario for them. But Usagi Fanclub does not want to let go without a fight. They moved up and they played their part and were able to break up the line of defense for the crew was happening. Now playing their slow and steady gameplay here. They're slowly picking off for the crew, keep them off tempo, off battered, off beat here as they're just getting kidding and running away with these points slowly but surely.
And even though the zone has been neutralized several times right here, Usagi Fanclub is able to get the crucial picks they need and keep control of the zone. Right now it is 1 down on either side, and that Zcast might disrupt them enough to where the zone does flip over to the crew. But even still, Nita hurt. Quick to check the person who ran into mid, and it once again looks like with 2 down on the side of the crew that they are once again in control of the zone. And with a Booyah Bomb still held on right here, that'll allow them to keep control, should indeed, especially as that stamp is shut down. They do take lead right here, and here comes the Kraken, which is, I don't think is going to be able to get that Booyah Bomb.
No, patiently waiting for the Booyah Bomb to drop there. They were able to quickly punish it afterwards. The Usagi Fanclub doing a extraordinary job keeping the zone alive for a little bit longer. 10 points remaining on their side. For the crew needs to move in now if they want to steal away this game and not lose this third game here on their side. With 2 down on their side, Usagi Fanclub holds it in and holds it strong. 2-1 over for the crew and reaching that match point here, grand finals.
That was some absolutely beautiful work and momentum. They had control. Aside from the crew's initial push at the beginning of the game that forced the Fanclub to scatter a little bit and they got picked off one by one, they were quickly able to readjust and get back in the crew, and they just held their momentum throughout the game. They didn't overextend. They always made sure to keep their focus on the zone. They always made sure to paint. They didn't go for any picks that were unnecessary. They didn't take any fights they knew they couldn't win. They just kept themselves alive, only dropping if it was a trade that allowed them to keep control of zone because they had more paint, and they used that to their advantage. Beautiful, beautiful work of Splatoon fundamentals right there.
Yes, and now match play for Usagi Fanclub moving into Commentators Barnacle 9. Is this the moment where they can finally break free from their curse? For context, folks, Usagi Fanclub, for the past few SOSs, the past two SOSs they've taken part of anyways, they've consistently placed second on both of them. And now this could be the one where they can finally break free from the second and finally win a victory, especially comparing last week where they fought this same exact team. Let's get these squads for the win crew here. If they can win against him here, they're truly making a wondrous comeback story after all these weeks of second and second and second.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it'll really come down to this game right here on Barnacle and Dime Clan Blitz, as this is a very back and forth map. It can be oppressive, as we have seen in Splatoon, but this is a map that will flip control quite often. However, I do feel that is a map that you do see a lot of stall on, as if you do get a lead and you're unable to break through the opponent. Considering how aggressive both of these teams are and how good they are at controlling the momentum, I don't know how likely that will be.
Yeah. of the night. Usagi Fan Club at match point here for the crew really needs to lock in if they want to try and win the game here. We're going to see exactly how this game kicks off with not a lot of changes, only the junior being brought out as the real major change here for the crew.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just cleaned my glasses right here because it's game point in SOS and finals right here, and I see a junior on the side of Let's Get the Squad Wins for the W. They decided to take the double bubble comp from Usagi Fan Club and like, okay, we'll match it with our own bubble, which we may not have two. We'll definitely get it out quickly, but unfortunately, two members do go down, including that Splattershot junior right here as Usagi Fan Club is working their way up, trying to take control mid. Unfortunately, that bubble does not come out in time to save Rian, and it looks like their friend is going to get kicked right off of Swan right here. That they are thanks to that beautiful Zipcaster, unable to secure the kill on the S-Plus, but it allows that Kraken to get in right there. They are able to get the Super Clan in, but they do not have a lot of eco to work with right now. They're going to have to be fast on their feet and get those get some clams back to the basket.
I think they're opting now instead just to reclaim mid and get ready for this incoming push from Usagi Fan Club. Letting the clan basket close out. 71 points remaining on your first push is good by Clan Blitz standards here. So nothing to be really worked out about, nothing to extend that even further. From the position that they're in, for the crew can definitely try and look to extend the lead even further. Doing a beautiful hold with the bubble here just to maintain control, maintain their dominance here. Moving in quickly once again for the
movement speed on that junior seems to be exactly what the crew needed, as it allowed them to quickly pop up bubble hold position, and when the time was right, out of the Fan Club's base and get that super clamp in. The point is, he would just be the super clamp here is establishing a lead, but it looks like the Fan Club is able to take back control, and they are in the crew's base right here. But unfortunately, their super claim is really far up, and with just their mini Splatling left, I don't know if they'll be able to get in. And no, it looks like the rest of the crew is able to respawn and put it in to Usagi Fan Club.
To potentially close the gap on a lead, at least a little bit there. For the crew held it strong there. Now looking to try and stall them out here in mid, and for as long as try and get anything going, but no, Usagi Fan Club was at the advantage there, but the Kraken from being able to keep things going, and now it's still a bit of a stalemate here in mid as Usagi Fan Club just hasn't been able to put past this point.
The awareness on that Kraken, they saw the person coming in through lane, and just 3, 2, 1, it's just like a perfect splat and like a perfect distance right there. That was absolutely amazing. Right now it is looking like Usagi Fan Club has control of mid, and they definitely have the eco advantage right now and some special to work with as you see the stamp come out right here. Careful trying to bait some improper movement right there. They do get the beautiful hammer throw right there on somebody they thought was safe. That's 2 down, and the rest of that jumped out. This is a good opportunity, and with that ball, that'll be a great setup right there as they do manage to start their offensive push right here, and they take lead as the second super clan has hit the basket, securing their lead by 5 points right now. Are they able to get any more? Yes, it looks like they will be able to take it down to 48. 2 members do go down right here, and it looks like this might be the end of their push right now as the rest of the crew is spawning back in, and they Fan Club falls back to mid.
A good practice played there with a Bobbler to be able to safely and quickly close the gap on the lead now with only about a 20-point differential, less than 20-point difference between these two teams right now. It can still tend to go either way. 1 minute remaining is not a lot of time left, but anything could happen here. This one tension on an all-time high. Usagi Fan Club wants to close this game out now. They close the set here, but now there's such a huge time advantage on the side of for the crew here means that it can absolutely cash in a lot of points in to get the opportunity here, but it's just a bit of a slow 75. Usagi Fan Club knows what conditions. They're looking to try and stop them out for as best they can.
That bubble got shredded immediately. The Fan Club was like, we cannot let them get a foothold, but it looks like the super fans are going to make it in. That's 1, that's 2, that will secure them the lead. The third one looks like it has jumped out. No, it was a little bait, but unfortunately they're not close enough to get the third clam in. That will be the end of Usagi. No, with 3 more clams, that keeps the push going. The super clam goes in. 4 clams left.
What? Are you kidding me?
I swear I saw that. I swear I saw that the pixels on that basket timer go up, kids. I swear that no, they pulled some witchcraft right there, but they did manage to take the game back. The 3 super clans, one after another, and there was a bit of delay, a little delay in air traffic control as they went to the wrong airport, but they did make it home to the basket. We're going to game 5, Dark.
Oh man, a buzzer beater victory there for the crew. Manages to hang on for just another game, and just another game is all they have left here. Now sitting at 2-2. These two Titans have been fighting it out here to try and claim the victory here. Usagi Fanclub wanting the run back victory over For the Crew here, and For the Crew here does not want to let that go. They want to take this back-to-back victory, especially over Usagi Fanclub for the second week in a row. And now, to finish things off here in Splatzone's Mekomar, we're going to see exactly how this all culminates here at the very end.
Game 5. The crew, you gotta keep, both of these teams, you gotta keep your head straight. You can't let them upset you now. You can't let the momentum slip away. You need to keep control right here as we head to Mako Mart's Clam Blitz. We just did Clam Blitz. It was awesome. No, it's Mako Mart's Splat Zones. Oh my god.
Oh man,
Sorry, I'm still just like, oh my, I feel the energy. I feel it. I want this game to come down to the wire, and I know it will. We've seen both of these teams on this map already. If not this week, then last week. It is going to be action-packed right here. I don't know if they're going to keep that junior, because that was a very good pick for this specific map, as it allowed. I just don't know what's going to happen right here, Dark.
Yeah, no, zones make them are. I mentioned this earlier before, but ledges and corners that you could potentially run a lot of different kind of comps here. The junior could be seen here. We could see the E-leader here. And for game number 5, I don't think I could ask for a better map mode combination. And it looks like they're confident with their junior on the side of For the Crew. And for Usagi Fanclub, they've been running the same set for this entire run here. And they're not going to change it now because they know it can work. Both these two teams make a break away for game number 5.
Entrance here has got to be good. You can't afford to have anyone get picked too early right here. Don't move up. That one bubble does come out, but its user is immediately gone, and that bubble is shredded. This will allow Usagi Fanclub to establish a bit of lead. 2 down on the side of the crew right here. Mita Her gets a 3rd. They all go down. That's a delayed wipeout right here, allowing the Fanclub to take an early lead with this zone. 30 seconds down, and they're already down to 80 points. This is looking good as we see the pencil trying to take for Cooler right here. The bubbler is ready on the side, and that Kraken is able to get vengeance for his fallen teammate right here. But is the crew going to be able to get in, as we are already down to 55 points?
5 points on your first hold on Mako Zone is very good here. And now For the Crew was able to flip that almost immediately, give the penalty points to Usagi Fanclub, force those jump outs, force those picks. That's practically a virtual knockout, wipeout in my book, as For the Crew gets set up on their own hold here, trying to make sure they can run away with those points to potentially contest the lead or even extend their own lead here. We have ball from Usagi Fanclub, and the bubbler does throw a wrench in their plan, but the pain's not enough. The Kraken comes out to disrupt Usagi Fanclub, and For the Crew still takes control of the lead.
There was 1 point difference right there, and then that scramble, that Kraken, and that bubble was able to secure the lead for the crew right now. 2 down on the side of the Fanclub, 1 down on the side of the crew, but it does flip to the side of the Fanclub right here. That Zip Capture looking to get some picks. It looks like they are able to do so before jumping back, but the pencil is ready and waiting. And with some quick help, they are able to take that. There's penalty points on the side of the crew right now, so nothing is being lost. If Usagi Fanclub take their time right here to respawn, try to get some hits. They are a man down right now. They need to go for some special, as there is one ready on the side of the crew right here. That bubble will be immensely important for keeping control right here, as we're trying to see Spider looking for an entrance with the stamp. They're not overcommitting, but here comes the Kraken, and they need to back out right here.
A neutral play with the hammer here. It turns out to a very good commitment. Usagi Fan Club gets to, flips the fight, flips the zone, and now they're in the one to control here in this next portion of this game here. Usagi Fan Club looking to try and wait and see who's the first to step up from For the Crew here, trying to get ready for this incoming pushes, and they have the specials online though. For the Crew looking to try and get in position to use those specials to take the space that they need. The bubbler on this left crate means that they can try and contest the zone here. The Kraken and the tactical from both sides. It's utter special mayhem, and both these two teams get go. And the lead is not closed once again. For the Crew holds the 1-point differential and takes control of it. And now Usagi Fan Club has been reset back to their spawn.
The Crew is determined to secure this victory, even if it's only by 1 point, because that is the point that matters at the end of the day. 2 minutes left on the clock, trying to shut down that stab at the side. The hammer barely missing the throw right here, just keeping a little mid off to the side right here. Play a patient neutral game. 1 down on the side of the Crew. You need to readjust right there. Make it 2 down. The zone does flip right here to the side of the Fan Club. Oh, this is a 96 gal is just doing their best to hold position, build special, and that Kraken, here it comes. It has been terrifying all set, all tournament perhaps if it was here before I jumped on, folks, and it is coming in hot. Does manage to get one, displaces the rest, and flips this up, but it is immediately countered by the hammer throw.
Oh, these two teams are playing it like their lives are depending on it. They want to take away this gold as badly as the other, and they're going to pull all the stops to take it make it a reality. With 1 minute remaining on this game, it can still be anyone's game, but we saw get back up done with the penalty points. They can potentially look to the lead swap here.
Yep, they have to survive for about 9 more points, which is less than 5 seconds right here, and with no specials, the Fan Club does not have a good way. They take the lead right now, finally flipping it for the first time since about 4 minutes into the match. They have only 13 points left. Zone flips, but it does not fully flip entirely. The pencil goes down here, 1 down on either side. 5 points left, but it wins with a Zipcaster that shuts down, and it once again flips into the control. That is a wipeout for the side of the Crew.
Oh, this is could be hugely devastating for the Crew here, but they had tactical online, so they're gonna be ready for this re-engagement here. It's up to how the rest of the game for Usagi Fan Club to be able to go around, get the flank they need so they get special picks here. Hammer's almost charged up here. They can get this hammer in time. They also ignore the overtime. We do see the overtime scenario as Usagi close it up here. They need 4 more points, and Usagi Fan Club takes the game, takes the second.
Control. Usagi Fan Club takes the set. Hard fought 3-2 against Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew. But tonight the Crew is taking an L, going into 2nd place as the Fan Club secures their win.
Oh man, that storyline could not have been settled any way better for Usagi Fan Club. Back to back, 3rd, 2nd, and now they're close to getting 2nd once again here, but they were able to clutch it up in overtime and send Let's Get These Squads for the Crew down to 2nd place, rightfully taking their 1st place that they've been going for week after week after week.
You don't see stories like that in any other shooter, folks. This is why I love this game. This was a fantastic tournament, a fantastic great white bracket. Congrats to all who participated, and absolutely congrats to Usagi Fan Club for taking home your win as the champions of this SOS. My friend Dark, it has been an absolute pleasure to do this bracket with you.
Yeah, no, I could not have asked for a better SOS to come in for. Because man, oh man, that was such a ride to have been watching and to have been witnessing for these past few weeks. So Usagi Fan Club, I want to give a huge congratulations for making your gold here today, because what a showing that was. And for the Crew here, I want to give you guys a good shout out as well for doing what you did today. You guys really brought it today to the very end, but unfortunately for you guys, Usagi Fan Club just barely managed to squeeze by, and I hope to see both these two teams again for the next SOS to see if they can make the match happen once again. But unfortunately, Jonesy on Jack, I'm afraid that our time is up here.
That it is, but the rivalry surely will continue, for its story is too legendary to end there. But similarly, I hope our stories don't end. So my friend Dark, tell them where are the good people in this stream can find you.
You can find me on most social media websites at SPF Dark, where I repost random nonsense from time to time. I stream occasionally, but more often than not, you'll most likely hear my voice time and time again across the multiple organizations we have here in the community, either here in IPL, CCA, Dapple Productions, Under Pressure. I am literally all over the map. And where can they find you, buddy?
My friend, they can find me at JolteonJack22 on Twitter or JolteonJack at bluesky.social. I am currently a professional voice actor trying to get my name out there, but unfortunately, due to college, am not able to work as much as I would like, and I enjoy doing these tournaments as a way to help me improve my talent as well as just show love for the game that I have. So feel free to follow me on those two things, and you might see me here on IPL or any other stream in the Splatoon server. But it has been a good night with y'all. I hope you are doing well, so stay fresh out there, y'all.